So there's, like I said, there's a lot of people. Some people say,
she went to a different dimension.
Yes. Some people say she played the elevator game, which is weird and crazy.
Yes.
And then you can Google that, because I'm not even going into that.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous.
And then other people think, the evil spirits in the Cecil drove her to madness, which they say that about a lot of the history when they're talking about people staying at the Cecil and then fallen, it's been like evil spirit possession or something happening to him. So there's a lot of paranormal stuff they talk about. Other people think that employee there did it, or someone else staying in the thing, and the employee helped them get to the roof, because the roof was supposed to be locked. The door to get on the roof was supposed to be locked. But do you really think this people there, they don't even want to go to the upstairs to get to the floor that had it? So I don't.
It's one of those things where it's like somebody forgot to lock the door. I think they fingerprinted the water tower. The only fingerprints on there were Alyssa Lamb's, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like, why would her fingerprints be on there and no one else's?
Exactly. You couldn't. She was already in, so even if you rub the fingerprints off, yours off, hers would have gone off too. Like, she was already in the tank. And they also, another thing they said, well, there's no way this little girl could lift that heavy tank door. And was the tank, and then the guy who went up there and found it couldn't remember if he opened the tank or if it was already open. Like, how could she have shut the tank when she got in there? Because she would have been inside and she wouldn't be able to reach it. And then the guy couldn't remember if he opened it or if it was already open, because he probably was traumatized by finding a dead woman bloated inside a water tank.
You're going to tell this people that said the water was brown and it tasted weird. Like, oh yeah, there's a dead body in there. Sorry.
Can you imagine if you were those people who were drinking that water and taking baths in it for 3 weeks? People say that. You know how many people drink that water? I'm surprised they weren't sick.
So you don't drink tap water?
No, never drink tap water.
Never.
Drink the tap water.
Filter does not filter out dead.
No, go buy yourself a gallon of spring water.
You bring bottled water with you, or bring a gallon.
Any hotel. Especially if they have a reservoir of tanks on their roof. I don't trust that. No. Even before this, I don't think I trust that.
Nope. Especially LA gets dry, so,
Yeah. And you can go watch that Netflix documentary. It's really good. I liked it. And kind of see. And they really... One thing there's some people that were, like, obsessed with her in her case, trying to figure out what happened to her. I totally get that. You want to solve this. You want to know what happened to her. Like, you feel like you're helping. But there's some people that are not helping. They're putting... They were... That one guy that was staying there, he was, like, from Sweden, or... He was like a death metal singer.
From Sweden? Really?
Yeah. And I think it was
Ja.
Yeah. It was one of the places that death metal singers are from. Norway, maybe. And they thought he did it, and he didn't do it. He wasn't even there during it. Come to find out, he wasn't even staying there at the same time she was. He happened to have been there like 3 weeks before she got there. And because he was like death metal stuff, like goat's heads and pentagrams and stuff, they were like, oh, he did it. And they had like him being completely harassed, and they proved he wasn't even in the country at the time.
It didn't end.
And so not only did they cause a problem for him when they did that, but when they did this documentary, they interviewed him in it, and the nutty people who said, I still think he did it, are now harassing this poor guy again.
Oh my God.
So I get you want to help, and there are some people that do. Like, look at, with the Golden Gate.
Yes.
The Patton Oswalt's wife wrote a whole thing on it, and she really had it down. Like, that was one of the reasons why they figured it out, because of her work. Yes, there are people that can help, but this one guy made his friend videotape him rubbing her grave. Like, dude, that's creepy and gross.
Like, her parents don't need to see that.
No. Why are you doing that?
That's just not...
Weirdo.
That's wrong.
So, anyway, Alyssa Lamb is probably what put the Cecil back in the heads of a lot of people, where they probably didn't think much of it before. I think when Ramirez got caught, it probably was in there, staying at the infamous whatever, and when the guy from Austria was caught there, the serial killer, I'm sure, but this kind of put it back in the books again as being a weird paranormal place. And it was bought by someone in 2017. They started doing renovations on it. Again, they wanted to make it into another hotel. Mm-hmm. But the pandemic happened, so the panorama came around, and the hotel was closed temporarily, and halting of the thing, and it was only closed, like, I think January till December 13th, 2021, the
Open
Cecil
again.
reopened into affordable housing complex. It's operated by the Skid Row Housing Trust.
Good.
And it'll provide 600 low-income residents homes. Which,
Nice.
let's turn the history around a bit and make this a
good.
good place. However, there's more to this, Margaret. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I know, this is a long episode. People are going to be like, what the heck, Colleen? Shut
Three-parter?
up. So, there's a TikTok creator who lives right across the street from the hotel. His name is Pete Monzingo. When the hotel was closed, he was recording things. And he records lights being turned on and off inside the windows. He says that he has seen figures walking around when there should have been no one there. Because no one was working on it during the pandemic. It was closed down, shut down. He says he saw a man sitting in a room smoking a cigarette. And he could see him through lights in the room, which shouldn't have been on. And he said his apartment was completely dark. And he said he watched the man follow him from one room to the next when he was walking through. Like, the man couldn't have... How could that guy see him? I have goosebumps just talking about it.
Oh, my God.
And you can go check his stuff out. He has a YouTube channel, too, I think, about living across the street. And he said that when you're just walking by the hotel, you get bad vibes. Like, it's just bad stuff.
Bad mojo.
Yes. One time... This is terrible. One time, he saw a young woman standing in the opening of a window... And the woman looked a lot like Alyssa Lamb. And he got really concerned. He see this woman standing in an open window up on the thing, thinking, oh my God, she's going to jump. He calls out to her. She doesn't answer. 911's called by other people, too, seeing this woman standing in the window. Come to find out, Ghost Adventures was filming there. And it was a woman acting out Alyssa Lamb stuff.
Oh my God.
It's just... Yes, ghost hunters have been there. You can watch the episode of them there trying to find... But that's about traumatizing the people that live around there.
Oh, my God.
Joy Johnson, who's the author of The Reluctant Caregiver, it is a book she wrote about caring for her mom when she had cancer. But she talks about that her father became a citizen in May 1965, and... his very first address she discovered was the Cecil. When he came to the country, that was where he lived in 1965. And he would share this experience he had while living there. He said one night he woke up drenched in sweat, and he tried to sit up but couldn't move. He felt hands closing around his throat and trying to squeeze and strangle him. And his chest felt very heavy, and he started to not be able to breathe. Then suddenly, as quick as it happened, he gained control of his body. Obviously, he's the smart man and took off running out of the room.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Oh, my God.
He ran to the front desk, and he told the man at the front desk what happened, and the guy just shrugged and he goes, yeah, someone got murdered there. So people, like, when she shared this story on her podcast, people are like, I bet it was Goldie's room, the pigeon lady's room, that he was staying in because she got strangled, and it was right before, 65 was the year she got strangled right before that. Not long before, 64. So they're thinking, I wonder if it was Goldie.
That's true.
Goldie Odds's room. He asked for a new room, obviously, and they moved him, and nothing else happened while he stayed there. Like I said, she wrote about this, her father's experience, on her blog in 2012, and there were 3 other commenters saying that they or their aunt, one of them said it was them, one of them was the aunt, had the same exact experience at that hotel, and they stayed in the same room.
Oh no!
Now these are comments on the internet, so people could make things up, but still,
because it's own housing, they don't have.
I know we can't. We could go there, walk around it.
They don't let you in if you don't live there.
I know, but we can walk around the outside.
Oh, that's true. Look at it.
Rob, or we could walk in and pretend we're just visiting our friends on the, not the 8th, not the 7th or the 14th floors. We're not going to those. There is a paranormal investigator named Rod Hernandez that was able to get into the Cecil when it was still open. In 2011 was his first day. He went, but nothing really happened that time. The second visit, this was after the death of Alyssa Lamb, he definitely said he could feel a change in the atmosphere. But he said, it became a really popular place where a lot of ghost people were going at this point with Alyssa Lamb because it got popular. And the hotel started pumping in music everywhere because people were trying to do EVPs, the ghost stuff. And they couldn't do it unless it was quiet. So they did that purposely to stray people away.
Right.
He stayed in the room 1419, which was Ramirez's room, purposely asked for it. The 2 other people with him stayed in the pigeon lady's room. Which, why? I'm not ever going to go near Richard Ramirez's room.
No!
This is the funniest part, Margaret. He said there was a distinct smell in that room. It smelled terrible. I bet it was his breath lingered. He said that they couldn't do EVPs because it kept on picking up because the walls are really thin and it was picking up. There's people with mental illnesses living there, people yelling, people things happen. It's hard really to do anything. He tried to speak to the staff about working there. What would happen? No one would talk to him about it. He says he definitely believes there's ghosts in this building. However, he didn't pick anything up or have really any experiences with it. But he says, when you walk in a place and you can just feel it? He goes, you can feel it here. And he said that you could tear that building down, but there's a definite psychic scar there. And that energy is going to be there forever no matter what you do. There's just a negative feel about that place. And he said, he was honest, I didn't pick anything up, but I do 100% feel like it's either it said that energy that stays, that energy that echo, they say that stays. Obviously, there's been trauma happening in this place, and a lot of it that has weird, mysterious surroundings. Yeah. And this little part I like to show. So if you watch American Horror Story, the 5th season was Hotel. It was a Hotel Cortez. It's a fictional, but it was also located downtown LA. And in an area like Skid Row. The same style, Art Deco styles. Mm-hmm. And deaths in the hotel kind of reflect the things that happened in the Cecil in real life. Now, the producer of the show never admits that he really is the Cecil, but it's the Cecil. Just like on the Cortez, guests check in and then don't check out. Again, it happens in that. If you watch the season, that's what happened. And there was something he did mention about the Alyssa Lamb case that made him kind of look into the Cecil before he did Hotel. So I think it, obviously, he's without coming out and saying it, he basically said it inspired him. And also in the episode Devil's Night, the episode showed that once a year that was it James Marsh. He was it was Tate. It was
yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
What's his name? Evan Peters plays him, and he would hold a dinner party once a year for spirits of history's most vile serial killers. There was Dahmer was at the table, Eileen, what's her face? Yep, and Ramirez. So
Stinky Chops and Salt.
The fact that they had Stinky Chops there kind of was a little nod to the Cecil also. So it kind of all ties together. I always thought the Hotel California, the song, was related to it. Yeah. And the people say that, it kind of is kind of a thing. Other people say it's about capitalism or something, but I really think it's kind of that song is eerie. And if you really listen to that song, that's not fun. You check in, you don't leave. No, thank you. And that was the Cecil. People would check in and they might leave, but it's out a window. And that's not how you want to go.
Or pieces in a body bag.
Or
scrape you off the sidewalk.
Or you leave because you're in a water tank and died, and they take you out on a coroner's bag. So I'm fascinated with things that are like buildings that enter, like the same with the Queen Mary. There's that echo that's left.
Also in California.
Not far from it, really, if you think about it. So, yeah, I'm a little obsessed with built the same time. Art Deco style. I just putting all this together, Margaret.
Yeah.
I need to go to see the Queen Mary. I can't get in the Queen Mary anymore, and I can't get into the Cecil. But we're going to go there, and we're going to go outside of him, and I'm going to feel that. Maybe that's what my panic attack started as. When I saw the Queen Mary, and I thought, because it was so big, I couldn't go. Maybe it was really that energy I was feeling.
It was.
Maybe I was having that, like, I could sense the hauntings. Anyway, that's the history of the Cecil Hotel. This is a long episode, but we haven't had a long one in a while, so might as well.
Haven't.
Might as well, live it up.
I'm gonna have a good one next week too.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's
Don't tell.
I'm reading a book, and it's something I've never heard of before, and I read about it. I'm like, no way this happened. This did not happen.
So I read a book for this one, and I'll link it or put the title and stuff, and it was good. It was written by a ghost, like a paranormal investigator, and apparently